because this is crazy.
You got to activate the core and boom, and then get, and then shablow,
This is just, you get ready. You literally just, it's like you were in my last therapy session.
I love that you've always done that. Like, it's so cool. I mean, I forget one time, I think you went off on somebody. I was like, oh.
Chadwick Boseman, it was his last movie, right?
Yeah, this man has superhuman strength. I don't know, it was hard on me. It was hard on everyone else. I don't know how he did it.
I'm kind of angry inside. I needed a minute. This is my favorite thing I actually learned. I feel like I was talking to Sophia when I learned that you're really into Dungeons and Dragons, and you have like a club.
Yeah, sure. I played as a kid, and then as an adult, I actually like work with the company, which is the job I wanted as a kid.
I've never done this
so
before,
I get
but
to write stories that have been published.
Tell me, I was yelling at him,
in their
tell me,
adventure
tell me.
modules. I created a bunch of characters that are sold in packages like action figures.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is my game. That's my brother with the big beard. There's me. I built this whole ice castle on the dining room table. That's Tom Morello, the guitarist from Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
There's Vince Vaughn,
This is crazy.
Dan Weiss, co-creator of Game of Thrones, director Kyle Newman. That's Ryan Vernier, who helped to create League of Legends. That's my buddy George in the front, who's a great actor. Yeah, I mean, we're just having a blast. And so this is my game that I run every Friday night that I'm not working or that I'm in town. And the whole group was a bunch of like visionaries or A-list people in the acting entertainment world who grew up and developed those skills playing this game.
You've actually used Dungeons and Dragons as a way to help kids, right? Sick kids.
Yeah, I'm on the board of trustees at Pittsburgh Children's Hospital and have been for a long time.
Yeah.
And I had this idea, I visit the hospital, I visit the kids, and there were a lot of these kids who are battling really serious illnesses, and sometimes they're in the hospital for months at a time, and their parents are working. So they don't have anybody there from their immediate family staying with them, except for the other kids. And sometimes kids are hooked up to an IV for hours at a time, getting an infusion or something. And I thought one of the beautiful things about D&D is that you go into this other world and you're not you.
Yeah.
And it's super immersive.
That's why I like fantasy stuff like that.
And I thought maybe that would work for the kids, that at least for a few hours they could not have to be them and deal with what they were dealing with and escape and play a character, and it worked.
Yeah.
And so I had Dungeons & Dragons, sent crates full of boxes, dice, and my brother and I went to the hospital and taught the kids how to play, and I dungeon mastered like an adventure with goblins and things like that for them, and
so cool.
and they loved it. And I hope it's carried on, but we tried to plant that seed that this was a way for you to kind of get out of the everyday.
Absolutely, and that escapism is so important for everyone, and especially if you're stuck, and I think this year everybody can relate to that more than anybody. We're all kind of stuck inside and not doing our normal, routines. And one thing I love about you is I've always had to be stand strong for myself with my body image, in the public eye. And I love that you've always done that. You are so body positive. You talk about
I
body
love that
positivity.
you've always done that. It's so cool. I mean, I forget one time, I think you went off on somebody. I was like, I loved you for it.
Is that the British chick? I was like, look, I ain't got time for you over the pond. I got enough people hating on me over here. I was like, what? And I'm still awesome. What? I was like, people are I'm just like, go have some tea and get off of me. And why
you
is
set
it?
them straight, and I was like, whoa, don't mess with her.
I did it with 7 words, Serena. I was real, because here's the reason why I get so angry, and I don't know if this is why, I don't know what fuels you to keep, talking about the public eye or being very honest about it, but what fuels me is, one time I was actually on Ellen, I was doing this interview, and she had asked me about something like that, and I said, what makes me mad about it, it's honestly not how it's said to me. It's rude, obviously nobody likes to hear it, But it's because other women and other little girls are looking out there and they're bigger than me. And they're going, well, wait, if they think she's this way, then what does the world think of me? And it's just like the domino effect of that is so detrimental for people's psyche, and especially nowadays with young women on social media, like it's just so hard. So that's what actually makes me mad. That's why I feel like I have to keep talking about it every once in a while and stand up. I try to do it in a comedic way and keep it light, but well, sometimes you just got to shut them down.
I don't think you kept it light. That was not light, but whatever you say.
I said it light with a bomb. My mom loved it.
Yeah, okay.
That's all right. We can't. I can't hide class. Well, do you mind showing us your bedroom? I like it so far. Like, can you show us around just a tiny bit? It looks
Sure. Here, I'm going to turn around the camera.
All right.
There's my dog, Angel Grace.
Oh.
See, she's on her bed. See, I've got the ocean there and the fireplace, and this is where my TV is. And I just want to tell you that, when I bought this house, I was getting a divorce from my first husband, and my life, I was, still on the show, The Nanny, and my life was very complicated and intense and busy. And I needed something that was extremely calming and, very pristine and to make me feel very peaceful.
You literally it's like you were in my last therapy session. I not only I got a new house, it's very white and clean, or it's the same reasoning. And I also redid my office here. I looked at Kevin, our art department, I was like, please help me make this make sense. I was like, I need to feel cleansed, and I just wanted to feel happy, and it does. The colors make me feel really good.
Yeah, me too. And colors do influence how you feel.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell you that now that, everything's done and years have passed, we're actually very happily divorced.
I know. I love the show. Y'all did happily divorce.
That inspired the show.
Yeah, and you're actually friends with your ex, right?
Yes, we're the best of friends, and we're still writing partners. Sometimes we marry people because we love them. And I come from a very provincial upbringing. It seemed like that was the next likely step, but it's not always the right choice. And when you figure that out for yourself, you don't have to, and I got this information from a very wise old owl, and she said, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, just take what's good about it and nurture the love in a new way. I think is probably the healthiest if you can do it.
Well, Coleman, your new movie, Ma Rainey's, is getting Oscar buzz, right?
Yeah.
So tell everybody what it's about, like if they don't know.
Ma Rainey is about a group of jazz musicians and Ma Rainey, who was an openly gay jazz singer in the 1920s. And it's a recording session on a hot August day. And everyone's trying to just basically record this album, but everyone's coming in with their own sort of powder kegs of issues. And so we get the album done, but it's at a cost, and a huge cost for these characters. It's Viola Davis, Chad Boseman, Michael Potts, Glenn Turman, and myself, and some other wonderful actors. And it's just all these people wrestling with what it's like to be an African-American musician and human being in the 1920s, which is still relevant to today. And all the things that we're trying to fight for your own voice and have agency in the world.
Which is sad that it's still relevant.
Yeah,
today.
absolutely. Which is why stories like this must be told again and again.
Amen.
Yes.
I agree.
Amen.
And you mentioned Chadwick Boseman. It was his last movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like working with him? Everything I've heard, everyone says he was just the sweetest guy, the hardest worker.
Yeah.
No one knew.
No one knew. And I'll tell you this. Now that my friend Chad has passed, I think I realize in perspective why he played so many superheroes and iconic men in our culture, is because that man truly was, he was a shaman, he was very much a king, and we had some incredible moments on that set. He never showed. There was one moment that we had when we were shooting a scene that is about God's will, and it's these two characters, my character and his, wrestling with what is God's will and why do bad things happen to good people.
Yeah.
And at some point, he couldn't get through the scene because something was bringing up something real, as we hope it does as an actor.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I just saw he was struggling, and I just decided, I don't know, I've never done this before, but I didn't want to leave the scene. I said, tell me, and I was yelling at him, tell me, tell me, tell me. And then he exploded. And you'll see that scene in the film. He exploded with
Oh my
such...
God, I just got chills.
Yeah, he exploded with, and it was that point where I didn't know what he was wrestling with, but it is that question of faith that was in the room. And we finished the scene, George Wolfe, our phenomenal director, called cut, and we embraced each other, and we sobbed.
Wow.
And we knew that the thing that we hope as artists is that something else is at work in the room, and hopefully I believe that we as a company and everyone around Ma Rainey's Black Bottom helped Chad get through this film, because it was hard on me. It was hard on everyone else. I don't know how he did it, so.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Do you like producing or acting better?
I like both, honestly, but I definitely want to do more producing as well. Like it just feels, you know, in life, like as you...
A little bit of ownership?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and even collaborating though, that's what's, so we were telling me we ran into each other years ago.
Yes.
And I literally left going, oh my God, I just met Jesse Spano. I was freaking out. And
Wait,
but
meantime, I'm freaking out probably over here. You're freaking out over there because like I'm obsessed with your music.
Well,
so.
we had a freak out moment together then. But then it cut to, now we're here and you're doing Saved by the Bell, the reunion. So I think this is the reboot is so cool. I had Mario on and we talked about it a bit because I already got really mad at him.
Why?
Because he was the first cast member to come on and I was like, hey, I knew the whole theme song. Like, I'm a really great jingle singer. I could have done the theme song.
You could have done it amazing.
Oh my God, I would have, you have no idea. I freaking saw every episode at 10 a.m. every morning in Texas. It's fine. So like, is that kind of cool getting back like so many years later?
It is, honestly, it's the best. Like the core four of us have never stopped being in touch. We are friends. I know their children. I'm friends with their spouses. We, you know, so to then drop back in, I remember sitting across from Mario like the first day of shooting at the Max, and I'm looking, and I'm sitting there looking at this face that I have known 30 years. We were truly children when we started.
I know.
You know, if someone had told me then that I would see him, you know, this many years later back as that character, I wouldn't have believed it.
I know, but it was such a huge pop culture moment. Like few people are part of something that massive that makes such an impact. So my question I asked him, so AC Slater is now the athletic director.
Yes.
So who is Jesse Spano?
So Jesse, in perfect Jesse Spano form, is the guidance counselor.
Oh my God,
okay? Because like, you know, even back in the day with the OG Friends, she was always the advice giver.
Yeah.
She was always wanting to help people, and she was an advocate for so many different causes.
Yeah.
And her son, Jamie, is a student here. So she's a bit of a helicopter parent, and that's comedy ensues.
You know I love Meryl Streep. You like make out with her.
Well, you'll have to see the movie.
I did see it. You kissed her. I did see it, and you kissed her. And I was like, and first of all, I'm upset at how beautiful she is. I'm like, good God, woman.
No,
and her that little red, little short. I was like, are you serious?
I know. Look at her. Look
I know,
at her.
it's so upsetting. I'm like, you can't be this talented and beautiful and all the things and sing but so you made out with Meryl.
So here's the thing. You know, stage kisses can be an awkward thing, right? And so my wife Elle, who is a director, a director and a producer, she was like, I think maybe it'd be a good idea if we rehearse the kiss. I mean, you're going to be kissing Meryl Streep.
You don't want to suck.
And you don't want, you want to make sure that you do this as well as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So we kind of choreographed what I would do. It was totally, here's what I did, Kelly. It was like, my wife's like, so what you need to do is you got to kind of go, what was the kind of corsage you want? Oh, a gardenia? Sounds great. You get a 1, 2 step, then you got to boom, boom, dashing.
Pull back,
and you go right into the kiss.
It was hot.
There's no stop, wait, kiss.
No.
You want to pull it, pivot, and go into the kiss.
Yep.
And so
I call that the tension pivot.
the tension
Tension pivot.
tension pivot.
You need just enough tension to be like,
Right.
oh!
And I'm just going, and I've never done like a dip kiss. Like what those, you know, so that's
Yeah.
core.
Yeah.
And you gotta activate the core
out.
and boom, and then get, you know, and then shablow, you know. So my wife and I practiced like 50 times maybe.
Yeah.
60 times.
Yes.
And then, you know, and then we took a break, had dinner, couple more practice. I just wanted to get it right, guys. I just really wanted to get it right.
How many takes? That's awkward. Is it like a lot of takes?
It wasn't. It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't. It was like 3 or 4. Like 3 or 4 takes, yeah.
3 or
So-
4 takes, you kiss Meryl
3 or
Streep.
4
What? 3-pointer!